Welcome, you're watching News Acts and I'm Megha Sharma. The Uttar Pradesh Police has now released images and photos of Sambhal Rioters and a massive manhunt has been launched. Till now, there are 27 rioters that have been arrested. There are 7 FIRs that have now been filed. The CCTV visuals showed rioters pelting stones and a mob of several people running and targeting the survey team. News X team on the ground has also seen broken CCTVs indicating deliberate sabotage in the violent event that took place. There are 2 prime accused named in the case: Samajwadi Party MP Ziaur Rahman Barq and son of MLA Uttar Mahmood Sohail Mahmood, who allegedly visited the mosque days before the survey and incited the mobs. There are 4 people that have been killed in this violence, and police autopsy has revealed that the deaths happened due to bullets fired by the country-made guns that were allegedly used by the rioters. With Sambhal returning to normalcy, the question remains: who were these rioters and who was the mastermind behind this violence? I'm going to start my conversation, and joining me on the telecast right now is Ranjan Dwivedi. He is the former DG of Uttar Pradesh Police. Ranjan Dwivedi, I understand the job of the law and order enforcement agencies is to ensure that there is peace and harmony in the region, in the state, in the district, wherever the law and order agencies are deployed. It's an unfortunate incident that has taken place. This has been the outcome of a court verdict which ordered the survey of the Shahi Jama Masjid in Sambhal. When the survey was being conducted, there is a mob that has come down on the streets. Whether it was orchestrated or not is something that is being delved upon. Do you think the genesis of this mob violence was the fact that there was a court-ordered survey that had been initiated, and again it leads to communal violence and the communal disharmony in the country?
Megha, thank you very much for inviting me to this debate, or a discussion rather, on a very sensitive and important subject. Now, I've been SSP Moradabad and SPRM Moradabad also many years ago. And Sambhal was always an extremely community sensitive town. It was always very sensitive, and even in normal days, people would start their shops, open their shops around 10, 11 a.m. after seeing that everything is all right and there is no sensitivity brewing up. So it was that bad, and this is, I'm talking about 83, 84, and then again in 95. So now, and if the court has ordered anything which has to do with the place of worship, you can well imagine that it would necessarily vitiate the atmosphere quite a lot and places a great responsibility on the administration and the police to ensure that whatever is required, and these are normal standard practices, that you talk to communities, you hold back people who are troublemakers. You maybe in today's times, when social media is so important, you suspend internet, not after the incident, but even maybe before the incident. But then have enough communication channels open so that people know what's happening. I mean, it shouldn't happen that videos and internet is stopped and all kind of rumors go around. You see, it's a double-edged weapon, stopping internet. But then, these cautions should have been taken and adequate force should have been deployed for this kind of thing to happen. Because you could have well expected that a huge mob will collect and there would be very, very real fear of imminent violence. So I think the preparation should have been much stronger.
Okay, all right. I have with me right now Faizan Kidwai. Faizan Kidwai, he is the spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. Faizan, there are 2 prime accused who have been named in the FIR. One is the Samajwadi Party MP Ziaur Rahman Barq and the son of MLA Uttar Mahmood, whose name is Sohail Mahmood. What do you have to say about this violence that has taken place and the accusation that has been made on these two Samajwadi party leaders? Please unmute yourself, Faizan.
Am I audible now, ma'am?
Yes, you are.
Yes. So I'd start by good evening to all the fellow panelists and to you too. See, this is the tactic of Bharatiya Janata Party. They want to create false cases against the opposition party members. See, Mr. Barq and the MLA's son, they were not present at the site when on the 24th when the riots happened. And prior to that, on 19th, first of all, I heard you saying that they have been booked for inciting violence even before the survey started. Firstly, nobody knew that the survey is going to happen. Secondly, it was Mr. Barq because of whom the survey happened peacefully. So the credit should be given to him. It's the Bharatiya Janata Party which is using its unethical intentions to create a riot-like situation in Uttar Pradesh for political benefits. Now, ma'am, there's just one thing I would want to ask everybody. When the Places of Worship Act is in place and as per the Supreme Court that after Ayodhya judgment, the character of places of worship won't change anymore, then how come Vishnu Jain, who first of all happens to be a government lawyer, he's a public prosecutor, he goes to the courts and within a few hours he gets the order to conduct a survey? How did this happen? First of all, there are 4.8 crore cases pending in India. I hope the honorable courts would show the same alacrity everywhere. Then within a fortnight, all the cases will be sorted out and something good will happen for the people who are waiting for justice. So in this case, madam, first of all, the Masjid Committee wasn't taken into consideration. Apart from violation of Places of Worship Act, this also goes against the provision of Civil Procedure Code 27. Then Order 39 Rule 1, which says order can be passed only after listening to both the sides. This didn't happen. Order 8 Rule 1, it says you have to give defendant 30 days time, which could be extended to 90 days. Did this happen? Order 1, Rule 10, it says the Mosque Committee was not made a party to the case before issuing the survey order. And madam, I also would want to make it clear here, this is the person along with Vishnu Jain who was there. He's a local priest from a nearby temple. What was his purpose being with Vishnu Jain? Why were communal slogans, hateful slogans being chanted? This is also something which the Uttar Pradesh government and Vishnu Jain should answer.
Okay.
This Vishnu Jain, may I just complete this point also? Vishnu Jain is a plaintiff in the case. How can he be part of a team which is going for the survey? This raises serious concerns regarding conflict for interest. It also violates the principles of natural justice, madam. Neo judex in casa sua, which means that one cannot be a judge in its own case.
Okay.
Mr. Vishnu Jain couldn't have been there because he cannot be a part of the investigation or the decision-making team, but he was present.
Yeah,
so
okay,
this
you've made your point.
categorically
You've made
violates
your
a lot
point.
of...
You've made your point. Dr. Kaushal Kant Mishra, spokesperson of the BJP, on the telecast with me as well. Dr. Mishra, would you like to respond to what Faizan Kidwai has said?
Megha, good evening to everyone and to you too. And I have heard Mr. Faizan Kidwai, and he took out so many legal things in this case. The main case was that it is a civil procedure case. No notice was issued. If a plaintiff come to court, he asked for something. Court said, okay, whatever you are saying, we have to investigate. That is what is survey. It was in the stage of investigation, and I think a learned judge, learned advocate is sitting. He may put more light on this issue. It is a legal situation. It was not a notice, but fortunately, Masjid Committee was present in the court. The notice, the survey notice was given to him. Their written signed copy is available on the website and everywhere in the media. It is received by the Masjid Committee on the first day when the survey was conducted. He is saying that no member of parliament and his MLA son was not there. No, they both are present on the 19th. And
24th, they weren't present when the communal
listen,
flare-up happened.
I have not spoken in between you. I have specified
No, I'm
clearly.
correcting you.
Oh,
I'm
I
correcting
said I'm correct. I said on the 19th. I have not said anything about 24th now.
The 19 communal flare-up didn't happen, sir.
So because they are the bosses. They are the
Who are
bosses.
the bosses? Who are the bosses?
You're member of parliament and son of my MLA. Listen to
Who's
me.
bosses?
Mega, is this the way in which the discussion will go?
Okay, Dr. Mishra, go ahead. Yes.
Okay. So both are present. My first question to him, in what authority they are there? Is their name was in the survey team? No. Then why they are there? This is one. Two. Akhilesh Yadav tweeted a video, short clipping of video in which some people are chanting the Jai Shri Ram, and he is saying that the Jai Shri Ram is provocative. My question to my friend that if the Jai Shri Ram is provocative, then what about Naraye Takbir Allah Akbar? What about Sar Tan Se Juda? 5 times Ajan every day.
Dr. Mishra, you know, my question is not, let's over here, of course, I'm going to say a blame game will happen.
No, I'm not blaming him.
There is political
Meka,
vested
listen
interest.
to me.
No, Dr. Mishra, what I want to know is that could this mob violence, could this rioting have been averted? Because like I said, the genesis of this rioting that has taken place, that has led to the death of a number of people, is this survey that was ordered by the court, and therefore when we talk about the Worship Act, should every single mosque be dug up to find out that it's a temple, and should the courts and the judiciary be cognizant that this is a communally sensitive matter and therefore apply their prudence to then pass judgments such as this?
Megha, first of all, no judgment was passed by the court. This was just in the stage of investigation. 1. 2. If you are talking about Worship Act, okay, the Places of Worship Act clearly says if any site is under the ASI protected monument, this is not applied. This site was ASI protected, which was snatched away by the Masjid Committee under the rule of Samajwadi Party before 2017. This is a real fact. Third, if you ask, DGP sir is saying communally sensitive towns. Sir, may I ask, what is the definition of communally sensitive town? Is it not that wherever the population of so-called minority, where the infiltration is more, where the Bangladeshis are residing, where the more Rohingyas are residing, where the more, because I have seen the list, it's all wherever the population.
Mega, please give me time to interject. He's making all sorts of inflammatory wrong points.
Nothing. It is clear. What is sensitive? I am asking, what is the sensitive places? Wherever the population of Muslims community is more, including Rohingya, Bangladeshi infiltrates everywhere. It is a community sensitive place.
Yes, Faizan, you want to make a point?
Yes. So he raised this point that they were raising slogans of Jai Shri Ram. How can you say it's provocative? Of course not. But when there's a communally charged, sensitive area, some surveys happening. So if you raise religious slogans, you are inciting people.
No, it was
you are asking for trouble. No. What response? I have seen the videos. No one video is present. See, in today's day and age, people record videos. Show me the video where they're saying Nare Takbir Allah Akbar. So, first of all, stop making false allegations, sir. And you said, what right Barq had to be there? What right Vishnu Jain has to be there when he's a plaintiff? How can he be a part? How can he be a part? Let me complete. How can he be? Court cannot make him a part of the survey team. It goes against. It violates the principles of natural justice. He cannot be there.
You mentioned that point. I'm going to bring in Deshatan Nigam into the conversation. And Deshatan Nigam, my only concern over here is, and I have done this too many times in my debate shows and seen what has happened in the past. There have been a number of surveys that have been ordered by the courts where erstwhile there used to be a temple in existence. The question again being asked, how many mosques are going to be dug up and communally sensitive issues be raised in a manner such as this, that will then inevitably lead to mob violence and rioting that took place?
Well, Megha, let me tell you, there is no bar in law in applying to the courts for the surveys. If there is a dispute on a subject, only courts are capable of adjudicating on the subject. There is no bar. As many mosques or temples have to be brought in, people can bring in. This is the beauty of our constitution. You can't say how many will be looked into. Initially, if you recall, Hindus only wanted 3 sites. None was given. Therefore, and I had said on your TV show also in previous, that since you don't give those 3 sites, there will be in every city, every state.
No, but then are you saying this is with vengeance that the Hindus are coming out in numbers and opening these cases and appealing to the courts to order surveys taking place on mosques or any other place of worship?
Megha, let me tell you, these are constitutional and legal rights of the citizens that cannot be trampled upon. To approach the court and to ask for adjudication of their own disputes. It is in pursuance of that dispute, the court appointed the commission under section 75 and order 26. And let me tell you one thing. As a lawyer, we have seen stay being given in the absence of another party, commissions being appointed in the absence of other parties. It happens very regularly. It is not an isolated or exceptional case. And as a lawyer, let me vouch for that. So, and secondly, a conspirator need not be present at the site of the rioting. He can do it from a long distance. He may not be present, and we have seen cases. And
why is it that we see a spate of these cases being highlighted in the course of the last few years? Why has this not happened previously? Why is it that there is only one individual who's a counsel who continues to raise these issues and file complaints and file petitions in court?
Let me tell you one thing. Why do Samajwadi parties, Aam Aadmi Party only go to Kapil Sibal and Abhishek Manu Singhvi? Please tell me that. So he has a constitutional right. If somebody approaches him, and he has become popular for taking up causes like that, and therefore if somebody approaches him and he wants to take up the case, he can. He's free to take up any case he wants to. You cannot restrict a lawyer's right to choose a case. That is what I also do as a lawyer.
And why is it that the frequency of such cases is now much higher than it was previously?
I'll answer that, Megha. When people become aware, and there are courts also have started, intervening in things where they think there are prima facie dispute and there is a requirement of an inquiry and investigation as provided under the law, they will issue a commission.
But okay, it's an open question that I ask. Is this issue being brought in the court of law and demanding and seeking that there be a survey conducted at a place of worship akin to inciting communal violence? Can it not be read like this? Because me as a lay person sitting over here, it makes absolute sense that if there is going to be a mosque, and there has been in the past, in the history of our country, a Hindu-Muslim communal, a sensitive, highly charged up atmosphere in the past as well, and it happens today as well in certain pockets, certain areas of our country. Would it not be judicious once again for the court of law, for the judges to understand it and take a prudent call as to whether this could turn into something which is going to be difficult to roll back?
Megha, prudence is governed by law in a court of law. It is not on the whims and fancies of a judge or a lawyer. There is a well-guided law, there is established law, there are precedents, and then there is an interpretation of statutes which are involved. And therefore, prudence of a judge is circumscribed by the law of the land and the constitution. So to say that a judge should act beyond the law, use some extra perception or prudence, that liberty a judge does not have. He is to be guided by law, written law, codified law, and therefore he is going as per the law of the land and the freedom of the lawyers to choose their own case and the freedom of the parties to institute a case in a court of law.
Okay.
And again, let me just finish. Now, as you know, I was in the forefront in whether it was a Ram Mandir case or Kashi Vishwanath case, and I have done thousands of TV debates on that. First, you have to identify what is a mosque under Islam, and I'm very clear on that. I've done my research on that. Is a place which is converted or destroyed and then forcibly occupied and then made into a mosque. Under Islam, it is not a mosque. And I've talked to a lot of Islamic scholars, and they agree, and they have been on your TV show and debates on number of channels, and they have said so, quoting the various scriptures also. And the very fact that Muslims should come forward, first acknowledge that this was destroyed, then they can sit across the table. Once you deny the very fact that it was destroyed, a temple was destroyed where Kalki Avatar is supposed to come, the 10th avatar of Vishnu. And there are signs, and those pillars have been plastered also.
Okay,
And in
but
fact,
then, even if,
in fact,
I mean, I don't
one
know.
more fact.
Yes,
one
if you
more-
talk
one
about
more fact.
Ayodhya, you talk about Kashi Vishwanath, you talk about Krishna Janmabhoomi, which there has been a case about there's a survey conducted at Qutub Minar as well, and now that it's been well established. It's been well established that there were Hindu religious idols. There were temple ruins that had been found in all these places after the survey was completed. Then what?
See, then what? Then that is where first the acknowledgement, then the parties, sensible people from both the sides can sit down. It can be open for both. This place was open for both. As pointed out by Mr. Kaushal, it was subsequently taken over. Hindus were stopped from going there. And therefore, parties and some kind of a way can be found out. But if you try to cover up things, if you try to prevent an access of Hindus to a place which was actually a temple, and very important temple where in our Veds and Purans it is given that Kalki Avatar has come, even other religions also follow.
But sitting here over here, seeing it from afar, I just have to say, and with complete helplessness, that is there an end to this? I mean, how many hundreds and thousands of temples that have been ruined to build mosques or any other structures? How many of them are going to be accounted for? Are you saying that the temples are going to be rebuilt and the mosques are again going to be destroyed and desecrated, and on the ruins of the mosques again are the temples going to be built? I'm going to close my conversation and once again getting in Ranjan Dwivedi into the conversation with me. Ranjan Dwivedi, law and order agencies, their job is to ensure that there are no untoward incidents that take place. But when an atmosphere is created which becomes vicious, when there is a Hindu-Muslim divide that is sort of amplified as well, simply because there are political vested interests that lie for these politicians, for these political leaders to then help get their vote banks, help in appeasement politics. What is it that the law and order agencies can really do?
Yeah, I mean, a few issues I'd like to point out from a professional administrative point of view. The first is that we must understand that the common people have a certain interpretation of what is their place of worship. There's a legalistic interpretation, there's a common people's interpretation. That's one. And as the honorable lawyer said, that everybody has got a right in Constitution to agitate whatever they want in front of a court, and for the court to take a call and come to whatever conclusion it wants and the course it wants to take. The third point is that, you see, nobody wants a riot. No party wants a riot, political party, no community wants a riot, because everybody's interest gets affected. No, they might like to create sensitivity, to mobilize whatever community you belong to. That's one thing, but nobody wants a riot. And another important issue is that, you see, it's not a question of a temple or a mosque being coming into focus. But the whole issue is that wherever you disturb the status quo, be it a communal situation, be it a personal a neighbor's situation, whenever you disturb a status quo, you bring change, then you open a Pandora's box. And when you open a Pandora's box, then naturally everybody who has a vested interest in whatever community it is, then that comes into play, and automatically then the sensitivity goes up and you have something which is very rife for a communal configuration. Now,
Okay.
Now, you see, then there's another issue that, you see, you have to see, as you very rightly mentioned, that, the court ordered a survey, what for? Now, that's an important issue. If the court orders a survey for archaeological purposes, establishing antiquity of the buildings, structures, statues, or whatever, that's one thing. But then, if the plaintiffs are such and the court orders something, then it automatically becomes clear that the motivations do not lie in understanding the antiquity of the whole structure, but
Absolutely.
in trying to stake a claim to that structure, which then naturally it will, that configuration then, it has to follow, it has to happen.
Yeah.
And, and this is bound to happen. You had the RSS chief also saying at a few years ago that, you see, whoever is the victor at any particular point in time, they would like to emphasize their own places of worship and destroy that does not belong to them. And he also advised that, you don't go around looking for a temple in every mosque, because I mean, after all, these mosques came up much later. Temples must have been there much earlier. So, there has to be a lot of equanimity, in all this.
Yeah,
sensitivity in all this. That has to be exercised.
Okay, all right. Dr. Mishra wants to make a point quickly, sir, before I wrap this up.
It will continue till the time our Ambedkar's constitution give the citizen right, and right in such a way that if a non-Hindu religion lady goes to Sabrimala temple, challenging the Supreme Court, and if she got such a right, which is provided by our constitution, every citizen has got the similar right, and they will exercise. It's not the BJP or RSS going to decide the citizen right. It is decided by Ambedkar's
but then again,
constitution.
like I said again, the point that I was making was that to what end is this process going to continue? How many of these cases are going to be filed? How many trials are going to happen in the court of law? How many surveys will have to be conducted for this decision be made and a peace be maintained between the Muslims and the Hindus of our community? On that note, I'm out of time. I thank all of you for joining me on the telecast, and thanks for watching News6.
अब आया असली स्वाद।
अब आया स्वाद।
जब स्वाद के पड़े हो लाले तो MD